Welcome to the WRC podcast. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and you're in the right place. Here at the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast, what you can expect is to learn, shift your thinking, and gain personal and professional growth. And if you have not yet done so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another podcast episode. The conversation starts now. Welcome to the WRC podcast. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Shirin Shaikh, a dynamic professional with an impressive educational background, including a master's in arts with a specialization in sociology and a master's in business system and intellectual management. With a TESOL certification under her belt, Shirin brings over a decade of experience in education, having served as a lecturer and counselor in diverse settings across India, the UAE, and the Middle East. Currently, she serves as the Enrollment and Admissions Advisor for the MENA and Turkey region at Queen's University in Canada. Today, Shirin will be sharing her deep understanding of the importance of family dynamics in a student's life. Through real-life student experiences and the insights gained from her counseling practice, Shirin offers a holistic perspective on navigating the challenges of student life. Join Shirin and me as we share her wisdom and expertise on the Well-Rounded Counselor podcast today. Welcome, Shirin. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you so much for an overwhelming introduction. It has always been a pleasure to meet you physically and today as well as virtually. So thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to share some insight and be a small part of your amazing Well-Rounded Counselor podcast. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you for joining me today. So let's just jump into the questions, shall we? I want to know a little bit more about your background and how you got into education, how you became a counselor.
So with me, I come from an Indian Muslim family back in India. If I talk about the time when I was, growing up, it's like almost a decade back. So when I was growing up, the mentality was to just pass your grade 12 or, just get a graduation, you have a better degree so that you can get married to a better man. That was the thought process. But gradually, it changed and I'm the eldest one. I have three more siblings after me. And so my dad was like very strict, picking up from college, dropping down at the college, no wearing like Western dresses. I was very fond of to be a dancer. But then, in Islam, in Muslim, dancing is something that is not practiced as a good profession, basically. Back then, now everything has changed a lot. But back then, yes. So gradually, I started like, I don't want to get married this soon. And just to run out of that marriage is where I started performing very well. So I was a mediocre student till my grade 10th, but grade 12 and graduation, I came out colors just to, run out of that marriage thing. And my dad is like, okay, now she's studying well. She's getting a lot of awards. People are praising her. I'm feeling proud about her. Let her study. So, since the reason I thought of talking about parenting from a father who was very strict to a father who's now very liberal, that journey gives me a lot of motivation that parenting plays a very important role.
Oh, wow. What an amazing story.
Yeah. And it came from communication. So I think communication is the key to any relationship, anything, be it parenting, your partner, your kids, your profession, etc. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more. Communication, transparent communication is going to alleviate so much miscommunication and headache and, unsettled expectations, right? So my question to you, Shirin, is why is parenting crucial in shaping a child's life? Mm-hmm. And what are some key aspects to consider in fostering a positive environment?
So yes, definitely, Katrina, as I just gave you one of my example, which clearly represent why parenting is important, right? So a quality parenting, now defining parenting into quality is also something which gives a lot of, or plays a very major role in influencing the overall development, the overall competence, and the ultimate life of a child. Now, I always believe, and you would hear this term again and again in this entire podcast, that preach what you practice. It's very important, So as a parent, a child, when it's grown, is only observing. He is only observing from day one of his life in the world. So it's very important. It plays a very crucial role that, as a parent, we create a very positive environment, an environment that makes him confident, that makes him happy. Because the journey starts from home, gradually to a peer relationship, gradually to school, and gradually to office, and then you have your own grandkids. And it's a circle, it's a chain that goes around. So whatever you were missing as a child is you need to make sure that you give it to your child.
That's
Right? It's a
beautiful.
circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now when I know that I have my kids, I'll make sure that I am liberal to them from day one. So that, what confidence I gain after my graduation, since my dad started giving me the liability to do things, I can give them from day one. So that's a learning that I have learned as a parent. My father has also learned that, how you need to develop yourself as per the society. Like, you need to gradually develop your thinking, develop your society, develop your thought process, leave the old origin, the old orthodox thinking, and just move forward for everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. Leave that old story behind, leave the past behind. It's only pressing forward and developing new thoughts, new ways of doing things, things that actually make sense and kind of work better. So,
Right.
in terms of emotional development, what specific strategies do you think parents can employ to nurture their children's emotional well being?
So with emotional development, I always use a terminology with my parents when I'm counseling called emotional intelligence rather than emotional balance. It's like how you make your kids intelligent emotionally. So, starting from creating a characteristics under them about how to manage emotions. It's very difficult on how they react on managing the emotions. So it's very important that they understand the environment of trust, respect, and support. They understand that there's somebody to trust them, there's somebody who would respect them emotionally, and then there's somebody who would support them emotionally. So emotional intelligence is a concept that I really work on and always use this term. And the first thing starts when a parent be a good listener. Because from the time they're growing and, after they actually leave their house when they're year 4, year 5, is when they start, getting a lot of influence from people around them. And in one school, you would see students coming from different backgrounds financially, different background in terms of status, different backgrounds in terms of, the relationship they have in the home, single parents, co-parents, etc. So it's very important that every parent needs to be a very good listener. Today, in this century where we don't have time, we don't have time at all. It's very important that at least give them maybe 10 minutes in the night. Just ask them how was their day, what they did. Is there something they want to discuss about? So communication is something very important. After that, again, preach what you practice. So model the behavior you seek. So however a parents would actually come and, like if a parent come back to home and it's just rest on the couch, the kid will learn the similar pattern that, okay, once I'm back from home, like once I'm back from school, I have to just be on the couch. If the parent keeps on playing games or if the mother is over the phone, the kid will also learn the same pattern. Wherein if
Absolutely.
the parent comes back home and then, they clean the house, they support each other in doing the household chores, the kid will learn the same. So it's like model the behavior that you seek and then nurture your child's self esteem. Very important. Self esteem is something that is very important that a child needs to understand that do what makes you feel happy and not do what makes you feel competitive in the market. Like don't compete, don't be run behind the race, just do what you make, what makes them feel happy. And lastly, I believe that it's very important to take professional help sometime because a lot of times I have seen, especially the age where they are adolescents or they're going into the teen, they're having a lot of hormonal and emotional imbalances physically in their body to take some support of a professional, which really helps them because they might not be able to talk to us to the level because they're so comfortable or maybe shy because we are their parents, but maybe to a professional they would definitely speak all their heart out. So I think these are few strategies as a parent we can involve in our daily life which are very simple. There is no any die-hard or very big fundas. It's very simple to keep things simple for the kid as well. Yeah.
I love that. Keep things simple, everybody. If you're a parent out there, keep it simple. I love everything that you just shared about emotional intelligence, modeling behavior, monkey see, monkey do. That's the saying that came to my head.
Yes.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yes.
So now that we kind of know the foundation emotionally and the modeling behavior, how can parents effectively support and guide? Let's talk about teenagers in making choices about their
Mhm.
future around education and still respecting the teenagers' autonomy, because we know that
Right.
sometimes the parents want, like your situation, your parents wanted you to do something and you wanted to do something else. Where can you bridge it?
So I'll just give you a very quick example of my just recent counseling where I met one student in one of the school, and with the parent was an engineer and wanted the daughter to be an engineer. And daughter was extremely good with in terms of her merits, her academics, her extracurricular activities, very competitive to be an engineer, absolutely. But after the conversation, she connected me like on a call and she's like, I want to be a real estate influencer. And I was like, oh my God. So why didn't you communicate it with that to your parents? She's like, no, my parents won't understand this. For them, it's like you be an engineer, you have a settled job, you have money that's coming in, and that's it. That's the ultimate goal. They want to invest me to be an engineer so that I can have a stable life and money. But she's like that I can also have the same thing, be an influencer, because I could see she took a lot of names of this real estate influencers right now in UAE. And she said, see, they have this, they have a car, they have a G-Wagon, they have this, they have that. So communication. Ultimately, the bottom line is communicate to your kids openly and honestly, understand their interest, understand their goal, try to, process their concerns for their education, and then support them, not being judgmental about their thought choices, but then at least support them and let them understand or come to, as you said, bridge. So come to a solution where you can ask them, okay, be a civil engineer, get that technical knowledge that can make you a civil engineer, and then sell your own property or sell your own building that you made. That's how a parent or a counselor can help the parents to join two things where both the parents and the child are happy equally. And the same solution I gave it to her to apply to our engineering program at Queen's, and which can help her. And then we have a business program which she can add and learn some business skills and combine her option and the father's dream together to be a civil engineer who can also be a real estate influencer. So, communication openly and honestly, encouraging them and not controlling them. Very important nowadays. Parents, with at this stage, especially when they are about to make the university choices, or maybe what career they should be in, parents get a little controlling based on the influence that they have from their own colleagues, or maybe XYZ cousin did this and became successful. Maybe there's another cousin who did the same thing and didn't become successful. So, it's important to offer guidance, but not to control. Give them all the choices and let have everything on the plate, and then let them select what they want to have out of that plate.
I love what you said.
Encourage. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I love what you said about the creativity of finding a solution, the balance. Not only helping achieve the student reach the dream of what the parents want, but also achieving of what the student wants and finding the balance and the mutual respect. And that's what we do as counselors. We try to bridge it and give them like
Yes.
um, not just a singular linear option, like creative solution. I mean, we are in the 21st century. We know that there are jobs out there that were not around even just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that things are evolving really fast. And this idea of an influencer is now an actual job, which
Yeah.
which you can't go to college for, really. Like, there's no degree in becoming an influencer in any respect, but it's the skills you have. It's the skills you bring and
Absolutely.
the value add to change people's lives. That's what an influencer does. But you're also at Queens or at any university, you're advising student to get the practical skills, to get the knowledge, and then package it in a unique way. And I love what you said, and I do the same thing. So it's amazing we're on the same
Yeah.
page.
Yes. And lastly, also very important that a parent should always keep that a thing for a kid, that they know the financial uh, how do I say it, the financial affordability or the sustainability that the parent can afford for further education. Because we have seen a lot of students, applying to top universities where maybe the fees is extremely high, not affordable for the parent, and then getting offers and then ending up not selecting them or not able to go to that university just because of that gap. So for a parent, it's very important that the child, because we as a parent try to make sure that we give the best to the kids, but then we actually, now the kids think that, okay, I have an iPhone, I have an iMac, I have a car, I have everything. My parents can also afford that, thousands of dollars to afford my fees. But then when the offer is out, maybe they're not able to. So that communication is also very important, especially at the stage where the student is trying to go to the university. That, okay, this is our budget, look for a university between this budget. Very important, I believe.
I always say be upfront about the budget from day one. It's so important. Like I think that that's like the key thing that people need to talk about in the very beginning, alongside the clear communication of what the student and parent want. The budget from the parent side needs to be clear to the child from day one, and vice versa. So thank you for bringing that point up. I want to ask you next, because you cover so many
Mhm.
areas and countries. You're between this region and probably even between Canada. In the context of
Mhm.
divorce and single parenting, which is the case in many parts of the world, or even co-parenting, how can we cultivate a sense of oneness and love for children to promote a positive outlook in life? Because we get influences all the time from circumstances, economy, news, school, or jobs. Like
Mhm.
how can we promote this positive outlook on life?
So yes, definitely now in this generation where people are behind happiness, and which I think is absolutely the right part. Earlier people used to stretch their relationship being not happy, but now it's not like that. Everybody is getting educated, and everybody wants to be happy, and happiness comes when they maybe, it's very important that you foster the child that we both individuals are good individuals, but maybe not together. So this is something that a kids really need to understand. We should never go ahead and create an impression about the other partner or the other parent that they were not good. That's the reason we are not together. Whereas it should be that we both were very good, but we were just not good together.
I love
Second,
that.
maybe counseling the child as well as similar childs, wherein both the parents can participate. If they're like co-parenting, in that case, both the parents can participate together for the child's upbringing, starting from making the decision which school they should go, what color they should wear, going for a small, like sub vacation with both the parents, possibly with their own spaces keeping intact in co-parenting. But when in single parenting, it creates a lot of impact on the child because he's missing one of the parent. So
Absolutely.
if the parent is not alive, then he may still able to accept that, thinking it's a God wish. But if the parent is alive and not in connect, it creates a lot of emotional and mental imbalance on the child, thinking that why I don't have a father or why I don't have a mother. Now, how to solve it? It's really simple, wherein you can keep your, you can give him all the compassion, empathy, and support that he requires, giving him the liability to choose his time to invest on any of the parent, not controlling them, not forcing them, helping them to understand the life by themselves. At least at the stage where they are at the adolescence or the teenage, where they are good enough to understand what is good for them and what is bad for them.
I love that.
And yeah, especially with in divorces as well, it's very important that you strengthen the relationship between the child and the parent, be it both the parents, is keeping their relationship intact, giving them the comprehensive approach of why the parents were separated, because it helped them to create their own mental health, environmental health, and now since they are separate, they can actually give a better life to the child rather when they were together. And lastly, not creating or not fighting or not arguing in front of the child. It's something which is again very important. Making the child understand how you can actually fight with problems or resolve them without creating conflicts. Yeah, maybe.
Thank you so much. This was actually really eye-opening because I think many people who will listen to this episode are going to be able to see themselves in this situation, and they're going to be able to take away some very key things that they can implement, whether they are a parent or whether they are thinking about becoming a parent, or maybe they can work on the relationship with their parents if they're an adult.
Yeah.
So I really think that you hit the nail on the head quite nicely and quite simply around this topic. So thank you so much, Shirin, for your time today. This was excellent.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It was a pleasure talking about this. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they?
So I'm always there on LinkedIn. We are very much connected. And then obviously my Queen's account. Student can just go to the Queen's website, and then on the Teams sheet, they can find Shirin Shaikh or my email address, which is shirin.shaikh@queenssu.ca. And obviously they can just reach out to you, and then I know you can connect me directly. Yeah.
Of course, of course. I'm going to leave all of Shirin's details down below in the show notes so you guys can get in touch with her in case you are interested in Queens or you're interested in continuing this conversation or connecting with her on LinkedIn. You know, that's where the vibe is at, people. Like, that is where my party's at least. So if you're not there, I invite you to join if that feels right for you. So again, a big thank you to Shirin. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in for today's episode. And I can't wait to catch you guys all on the next episode.
Thank you so much, Katrina. Thank you for calling. Everybody have a nice day, whoever's listening. Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you. Did you love the episode? I hope you're feeling inspired and no longer feeling alone out there, and you're ready to evolve and become a better person. Make sure that you share this podcast or take a screenshot and post it on your social media. That's how you help spread this podcast organically, and people can find it much easier when you share, or share it with a loved one. I'm your host, Katrina Marie, and make it your mission to be a blessing in someone else's life today.